it throughout the day rather than a big lot at once, because your body can't cope with big amounts. You're best just to do a little bit all through the day, like you would if you're eating. Absorbency.
So I'm really keen to see what you've brought with you.
Okay. The first thing I think is really important is thinking about your gut, your digestion, your stomach, pancreas, liver, gallbladder. So if our gut isn't working right, it's like having a hole in your petrol tank. How long is your car going to run? So I work on check out the hydrochloric acid levels in people's gut. If they're low acid, we'll put them on hydrochloric acid. If they're not, do something that's going to, like baking soda, to stop so much acid. And then pancreatic enzymes are a real important one.
Excuse me, Rachel, how do you check out the hydrochloric acid in the stomach?
Okay, there's a test here you can do. No, that's the wrong one.
You can do that yourself though, can't you?
Yes, you can.
Yep.
With apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar or lemon juice. So these are pamphlet here if you want to hand them around.
Oh, that's good, thank you.
Yep.
Maybe we'll just keep one here just while we can.
Yeah. So many people, I think 2 out of 3 people are on omeprazole or hydrochloric, something to stop the acid in the stomach, and most people are deficient in hydrochloric acid. And then they go on omeprazole and it makes it even worse. So 10 years down the track of taking omeprazole, their body's so deficient because they haven't been able to absorb the nutrients.
Is that what they give them for reflux as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Omeprazole, yeah, and I think that one's been taken off the market and they're now doing another one that you can get on script and that's even worse.
So why do they give them that?
Because people have reflux.
Okay, so it's actually hydrochloric acid. They give them that other thing for reflux, but it just masks the problem.
It's stopping the hydrochloric acid function in the stomach,
Right.
so therefore your stomach isn't producing the acid to break the food down. So when it goes into the small intestine, it's not broken down properly. So when the pancreas produces its enzymes, it can't do its work because the hydrochloric acid hasn't been able to.
Continuous circle, isn't it?
It is, it really is.
Thanks.
So, treat your gut. And now there's a lot of talk about oral probiotics, so ones that you actually suck, so you're getting the good bacteria in your mouth. So that's really helpful for your mouth and gums and throat, and the good bugs for your stomach. And there's just one here on, if we keep that one here.
Okay, good,
It's
thank
on
you.
pancreatic enzymes.
Okay.
So the symptoms of hydrochloric acid insufficiency is bloating, burping, and reflux. That's lacking in hydrochloric acid. Lacking in pancreatic enzymes can be bloating, burping, farting, heaps of farting, or flatulence, if you want to be medical.
Sorry,
Well,
sorry.
farting, yeah, we don't want any farting.
No.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
farting's not
So
good.
I'll just have to excuse myself every time I want to enter out the door.
No, it's good to fart.
I know it's good to.
But when you've got excessive wind, it can be embarrassing. And usually it's a sign that the pancreas isn't working as good. And as we all know, there's been such an increase in pancreatic cancer. I don't know whether you guys know people who've got pancreatic cancer, but
Well,
all cancers have increased, but pancreatic.
normally when I hear that, I go.
So why
3 months.
why do you think that?
Well, the pancreas, Louise Hay says, is the organ of joy.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of joyless people around, but it's lacking in hydrochloric acid.
And
Lacking in pancreatic enzymes. So that pamphlets there all about it. So pancreatic enzymes are released when you eat, and they break down carbohydrates, fats, all the other groups, not protein. The stomach does the hydrochloric acid for the protein, and the pancreas does the other food groups. So once we've got our pancreas working well, everything functions better. And also the pancreas is diabetes, so one end of the pancreas does the digestive enzyme, the other end does insulin glucose. So quite often if people are type 1 diabetic, it's showing their pancreas isn't working, so they also need a digestive enzyme as well.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody?
It's quite a lot to absorb. But
Yeah, no, any comments on that?
Well, I did a little class on the gut and improving gut health, and one of the ladies came in who was taking the omeprazole.
Yeah,
And so I had made some recommendations of some diet, but wasn't able to tell her how she should taper off the omeprazole.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
Indigestion or reflux, it's really horrible.
yeah, because she was lying down at night, and this horrible acid would come up, and sometimes she'd aspirate it. You know, so it was really pretty frightening.
Yeah, so quite often it's the valve in the stomach isn't working as well.
Yeah.
So I do a few Bowen moves that would help that.
helps to close it.
Yeah, it helps
Yeah.
get that front here.
No, okay.
Even just massage.
Oh, okay.
Down
Oh,
there.
okay.
But baking soda is a miracle and it doesn't cost anything.
Well, we discussed the baking soda, and she said, well, I never know what it's going to happen. She says by the time
Yeah.
it comes up, it's too late to do the baking soda.
Yeah. So what she needs to look at is what she's eating for dinner.
Yeah.
How long after she's eaten does she go to bed?
Yeah.
Perhaps she's eating too late.
Yeah.
But by taking a hydrochloric acid digestive enzyme
Mm.
with her meal would stop that from happening.
Is it okay to stop the omeprazole, or would you
Yeah,
say
you
she
can-
should taper off of
Yeah,
it?
you can just stop it.
Just stop it.
But if you're
Okay.
in agony, you've got to go and take it
Yeah.
until you can get it worked out.
Nice.
But it's
Okay.
it's not something that's not going to hurt you if you just stop it.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
All right.
And then, of course, we can go on to the poo brew. I formulated the poo brew about 30 years ago. You all know about the poo brew?
Yep.
It's out there all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. So the poo brew just helps, it goes sticky in the bowel, so as it's going through, it's pulling all the gunge off. So you do a nice big bowel motion. If you turn that over, you can see there's nice pictures of different poos. And that quite often tells you what your digestion's doing by looking at your bowel motions. Undigested food is definitely a sign of pancreatic insufficiency. Any comments on the food group?
No, but boy, this is how you diagnose just about, to me, what is happening in a person's body, what they don't know, you know.
Yeah, I think I need to have this picture here to show people.
It needs to be blown up a little bit because you know it's
If you go on the internet, it's on there, the Bristol
It is,
Stool
yes.
chart, and you can print one off.
Well, there's so many conditions now that are related to inflammation. It seems like that's the first question that I should ask people is, what does your poo look like?
Yeah.
So that's more than just fibre. How much do you take and what does it do?
You do a teaspoon twice a day. If you really want to do a really good cleanse, you could do 2 teaspoons 3 times a day, and then you do ones like this. But you just have to hold the top of your head so it doesn't cave in when you go.
That's a bit of a joke. Yeah, we like that one. Okay.
And then it's effectively feeding the good bacteria, is it? And
No,
it's fibre
it's going sticky, so as it's going through the intestines, it's pulling off the gunge.
Oh.
Right.
Great.
I mean, because I know that when I've put it in I tend to have it like before a smoothie, and then I have all the unpleasant things like magnesium first, and I have a nice smoothie afterwards. No longer put them in at the same time. But if I put that stuff in too early, it sets.
Yeah.
So
I have mine in my smoothie in the morning. I just mix it and drink it.
But you have to mix it just
quick.
before you drink it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, you don't leave it for too long. So that's the poo brew. The most common thing I think that people come into the store for is tiredness. Tiredness and depression. Depression's a huge thing in New Zealand. So many people are on antidepressants.
Has it always been like that, or is it getting worse? Because to me, there seems to be a lot more
Probably a lot more anxiety.
anxiety.
Yeah, a lot more anxiety. But when I was 50, I did my nursing degree, and the reason why I did my nursing degree is because I wasn't feeling well. I'd gone to all sorts of natural practitioners to try and find out what was wrong, including having my blood analysis. In the end, I went to the doctor and had my bloods done. And when you look at the iron tests, it's like 3, 8, 8. So iron goes between 10 and 27.
Okay.
My iron was 10 and my ferritin, which is your iron stores, was 20. And the doctor said they're in the normal range, don't worry about it, it's not iron. So I thought, well, no, that's not right. So I got on iron and within 4 days I felt like a different person. It really made a huge difference. But of course, I don't just put people on iron willy-nilly because we need to find out through a test from the doctor to find out if it is low. Women of menstruating age usually are low in iron. So it makes a huge difference. A lot of people are coming in with dizziness at the moment, and most times it goes back to low iron. Any questions on that? Any comments on the iron?
People can be bleeding in their gut or in their bowel and not know it, even by looking at their bowel motions. They still don't know that they're bleeding.
That's right, yeah. Some people come in and say that I take iron, but it doesn't make any difference. My ferritin is still only 20, and then they really do need to go and have tests to find out where they are losing the blood.
And so you need to have go to a blood test to find out.
Yeah. But that's, it's quite rare really, it doesn't happen that often. And on the back of that is B12 deficiency, the most common one for unsteady on your feet, depression, can't think straight, poor memory, is B12. Because then again, if your stomach isn't working right, you can't absorb B12. So if you're lacking the intrinsic factor, you have to do a sublingual B12 or have it in an injection form. And sublingual means you just suck it, so you're absorbing it straight into your gums, so it doesn't have to go through the gut. I should have actually bought some B12.
And I noticed that I've got a cousin of mine who has to have a B12 injection. She probably only has it once a month, or thereabouts, but she eats meat, and so there's something else that's not right.
So it's your gut.
That's her gut.
Yeah, pancreatic enzyme probably really help with it. Yeah.
So aside from if someone's got some particular ailment and they're just sort of thinking, well, I'd like to know what various things, are there sort of broad ranged overall tests that people can go and get that would say like, oh, you need a bit of iron, you need a bit of magnesium, but you don't need the vitamin D?
I do hair analysis.
Hair analysis, okay.
Yeah, and we're having really good results with that. So it's your DNA, we need the hair follicle, so that's seems to be quite accurate. But every hair analysis that I do, it comes up with digestive enzymes. That's why I really hone in on digestive enzymes.
And sugar? That's a big thing that people are saying, everyone's eating too much sugar.
That feeds all sorts of diseases, doesn't it? Too much sugar.
And inflammation, and is it sort of bad for you, good bacteria, good for the bad bacteria, or?
Good for the bad bacteria,
right.
They feed on the sugars.
Okay, thanks.
So going on to the sugars, so a lot of people are type 1 diabetic, or they've got high blood pressure, or they've got their diet, type 1 diabetic, blood pressure. High cholesterol is another biggie that's scary. A product called berberine, I haven't bought any with me, but berberine is a really good herb to help with weight loss, blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugars. Berberine, good herb, look it up, it's really good. What were we talking about there? How did we get on to that?
Well, the
Testing.
yeah.
How long does it take for the results to come back from your hair diagnosis?
Half an hour.
Is that all? So it's basically...
Yeah, straight goes to Germany and straight back on the computer and I print it off. Get a 35-page readout.
Oh, so you got the machine and something else does the analysis?
Yeah, it's done in Germany.
And how much is that?
90. And you get a 35-page readout, so you're getting, it's quite good value for money really. And you know what you're short of. And it does show up if a lot of people have had vaccine injuries, how their toxic, their chemicals are. It's really high. And going to that, so GPX immune support is one that's been amazing for getting rid of the toxic chemicals in your body. The guy that makes this, he's an actual doctor. So it's not cheap, but it's very, very good. You take it, don't you? You've taken deep breaths?
I've had it. I don't have anything at the moment.
But you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. I've never had a product in the shop where so many people have come back after 2 weeks and say, I can't believe how good I feel. Because it's just flushing out the liver.
The toxins,
Cleaning your blood. Your liver cleans your blood. If your blood's not good, nothing can work.
And then these things like there was that Z stack, and there's another one which people are recommending.
Oh, there's heaps. Look, there's so much stuff.
Is this
it's
similar
just
to that?
hard to keep up. I don't know about the Z stack, but that one there gets the glutathione working better in the body to detox the chemicals.
You mentioned about sort of time of eating too late in the evening. Also, I was listening to something recently and it mentioned something about being hyperglycemic when you go to bed. So thinking about what to eat and how long to leave it before you go to bed.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I was talking about how long after you've had a big dinner meal. You know, when you go to bed with a full stomach, you feel terrible. So you need to have a good gap from the time you eat a big meal to the time you go to bed. But if you're hypoglycemic when you go to bed, you could just have a piece of chicken, a piece of fish, a piece of cheese. You need protein.
Okay, so hyperglycemic, I assume that meant you've had too much sugar after dinner.
Hypoglycemic is low blood sugar.
Oh, okay.
Hypo is low, so it's low blood sugar.
Oh, I thought it was about having too much sugar in you.
That's hyper.
Well, yeah, well, what they were saying, I got the impression they were saying hyperglycemia.
I don't know how they'd have hyperglycemia.
Okay. And then how long is a good gap before bed then?
After
eating a big meal, probably about 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. Because you know, there's nothing worse if you go out for dinner and then go home, go straight to bed, and it's like, oh, it's an awful feeling. Probably all right when you're 6 or 7 or 10, but not when you get to 70.
So if you're hypoglycemic, that means you've got not enough sugar in your blood as opposed to the rest of you.
Yeah.
And then why does protein fix that?
Because it raises the blood sugar levels. Okay. So if a person is having a hypo attack,
that's why they give them a barley sugar or something.
Barley sugar, but a barley sugar will just give you a quick high.
It doesn't fix the
But
problem.
it crashes quickly. Yeah. Whereas protein will keep your blood sugar stable for about 4 hours.
Okay.
But it's,
so that's why you're saying you can have it before you go to bed.
Yeah, a little bit of cheese on a cracker or whatever, and that will help keep your blood sugar stable.
Thanks.
I've got a brother-in-law who's diabetic. Well, he was where he needed to inject himself, and then he had a stomach operation, which he lost lots and lots of weight. I mean, mega weight. I don't know what it was, but he was massive. And no more diabetics.
Yeah.
But it came back again.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. I mean, he had years and years of not being diabetic, and then all of a sudden he's eating all the wrong foods because you know they could only eat small amounts and often, and that was great. And now he's back to having cheese and crackers or something before he goes to bed.
Yeah. So that berberine would be great for your brother-in-law.
Yeah. It's good.
Helpful. I haven't got anything.
No, that's fine.
But I have in the shop.
That's good.
We'll get that. The other thing that we sell heaps of is Celtic salt.
Yes.
Has everybody seen her?
Well, I've got it here. We've had it over there. I don't know where it is at the moment. It's all gone probably, but you can leave a few here. That's great. These are great to carry around, these little packets in your bag when you're out. I say to people, just go get one of those and just keep it in your bag. So when you're out and about, you can take it because you don't realise how dehydrated you're getting. Even though you think you're drinking a lot of water. It's just not getting into your body cells, is it?
No. So a lot of people over the summertime, you drink heaps of water and you pee heaps and you're peeing out all your minerals. So what I suggest is just putting a pinch of that in your water so you're getting 82 of your minerals in that Celtic salt. So Celtic salt comes from France. It's all organic and hand harvested and that stuff. Cramp, headaches are a sure sign. Dry lips are a sure sign of dehydration. But when we were kids, we never used to drink a lot of water. I used to drink when I was thirsty. But I think the food you were eating back then had better nutrients and better.
Definitely.
Mm. Right, and so that's Celtic salt, so that's got 82 minerals, and she's a lot of, what's the lady's name? Barbara. She's on TikTok, so everybody was coming
Yes,
and
yes,
asking.
yes.
It was sold out in Australasia, we couldn't get any.
Yeah,
We just had
I
a
follow her on the thing. She was in New Zealand last week. This one that Paula went to see.
Oh, I see.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
What's she talking about
Not
now?
in Auckland. Sorry, I don't know.
Well, she was in Auckland, and then she was booked out in Auckland, so she did another stop in Palmerston North.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was last weekend.
Oh, okay, and what's she talking about?
I don't know what she was.
Because we haven't seen Paula since
Yeah.
she's been.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a bit on Facebook where she's talking about other stuff.
Well,
now.
she just does little video clips. But
Yeah,
there's a
she
lot.
does.
She's advertising a lot now, so it's jumping up every time I'm seeing
Yeah.
something she's on.
Yeah,
I don't need to see, but
yeah, I think she's doing joints, she's going a lot about joints at the moment.
okay.
I should actually watch some of these podcasts,
Yeah.
and I'd know what she's talking about. Magnesium is another biggie, and these are just the basic things. So New Zealand is low in magnesium in our soil, so a lot of people are suffering from magnesium deficiency. If you have trouble sleeping, if you get cramp, get headaches, you quite often need magnesium. But I quite often give Celtic salt along with magnesium, because then we're covering everything, we're not just doing one.
And then kelp is supposed to be another thing which
Iodine is kelp, because we are lacking in iodine in our soil in New Zealand. So Celtic salt has got kelp in it. Well, it has got iodine in it, not kelp, iodine.
and then seaweed, there's another thing which
Yeah,
apparently
it's kelp.
got
Which is
a lot of
Thyroid. So a lot of women in New Zealand have hypothyroidism, low thyroid, cold hands, cold feet, low sex drive, can't lose weight, dry nails, dry hair is low thyroid.
Right.
It's very common. But we're preaching to the converted here a bit.
We are, but that's okay because we're asking questions for ourselves as well.
Yeah,
And
totally.
anyone
Well,
else?
I just have a lot of people asking me questions about health, so it's really nice to know how I should answer, because I know about my own health problems, but I don't know about other health
No,
problems. Yeah.
no. Cool. Good. I think we just about covered everything. So there's information here on probiotics, the good bacteria.
Right.
A few years ago I formulated the relaxation spray and sleep spray, which works a little bit better than,
The sleep spray is amazing.
so there's some information on the relaxation spray.
Thank you.
Just answers a lot of questions, the pamphlets do.
Oh, it's two different ones, sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I've done sleep and,
Yep.
and relaxation. So it works very well. And it's not expensive, you know, we have to think about people's pockets these days. You know, everything's so expensive, so try and working out what people need.
And then, like sugar, another thing that different people have different ideas about, coffee.
Yeah.
Is that something which sort of depletes people, or does it depend?